Well, let's start here in France, where the country looks set to be facing new restrictions due to COVID-19. President Emmanuel Macron will be addressing the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Paris time. Macron's government has reportedly been exploring a new national lockdown that would start midnight Thursday, one, though, that could be more flexible than the 2-month shutdown France saw in the spring. Our Sharon Gaffney is in front of the Élysée presidential palace. She told us more.
French President Emmanuel Macron is meeting his Conseil de Défense this morning. That's due to get underway around now. And it's the second time he has met his Defence Council in as many days. That's the first time that's happened since the start of this health crisis back in the spring. And that will give you some indication of how serious the situation is here in France at the moment. Yesterday we had another 33,000 cases of COVID-19 reported. 292 people lost their lives in the previous 24 hours. So the government, it isn't ruling anything out at the moment, including potentially another national lockdown. Now, if that is announced, perhaps it won't be as strict as the one that was announced here, that was held here in France earlier this year. The country went into lockdown for 55 days. Now, there are other options open to the government. There's speculation that perhaps the curfew that is currently in place for 46 million people here, perhaps that might be extended. It currently starts at 9 o'clock in the evening. It's lifted at 6 o'clock in the morning. So perhaps the government will decide to have that curfew beginning a couple of hours later, perhaps at 7 o'clock in the evening. There's also the possibility that the government will introduce a weekend curfew. That would be, of course, more bad news for retailers in the run-up to Christmas. There's also finally the potential of the government introducing a more targeted lockdown, just specifically in certain areas. So whatever the government does, it needs to act quickly. The French president is due to meet after he speaks with the Defence Council with more of his senior cabinet ministers. And as you say, Eve, he will be addressing the nation later on this evening.
That's France 24's Sharon Gaffney.